Hey, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co. And today we're doing an unboxing and rambling around Chronicles of Drunagor, the Apocalypse expansion. This, for context, this is an expansion. This is not a full, this is an expansion right here. There's a lot of boxes. You can check out my previous unboxing of Chronicles of Drunagor where there's already a lot of boxes, and this is going to be more boxes to go into, a whole lot of boxes for a game that, well, let's go ahead and get into it. But at first, coffee shot as usual. We got our coffee, we got our knife. I am partially through my coffee. My daughter came down and wanted to play a video game, and I was like, you know what? I'll have my coffee, you can play a video game, and hopefully I'll still be going. And thanks to this Ember mug, hashtag not sponsored, the coffee's still warm. I do recommend Ember mugs, seriously. I've been nursing this bad boy since, I want to say around 4:10 or so. I don't know, I'm telling you the time. You don't have context for the time. I've been nursing this bad boy since around 4:10. We got that much going. Still is delicious, and it's currently 5:15. So I'm an hour into my coffee and only a quarter of the way, maybe a third of the way through. And then we're going to do this video, and that's going to add another chunk of time before we're done. Let's go ahead and get into all of this. And also, not sponsored, I just really like Ember mugs. I wish they'd sponsor me. I would happily talk with them as much as possible for any amount of a paycheck. We got the Four Horsemen expansion. We'll put this off to the side. We got the Hero Pack 1 and Companions and Furnitures. The Hero Pack 1 is going to have a fun little thing we can talk about when we get to it. Then we have over here, we have Fallen Sisters, if you want to check that out. Again, timestamps to everything down below. We have whatever's in this box, which I think is the core box, Age of Darkness Apocalypse, and then we have Awakenings as well. We need to get all of these out of the way before I knock into my coffee, because I do not want to knock my coffee over on camera. I've done that once before. Once was enough for me. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive into this. As usual, before we do, this is an unboxing and rambling, which means a few things. First of all, if you are here for an informative opinion on a board game review, you'll get half of that. I have played this game, but you will not get a full review here. This is not a full review. I've played through the prototype of this. The prototype had a few missions, so I've gone through a little bit of Apocalypse. I've gone through a whole bunch of Chronicles of Drunagor, but if your goal here is informative, useful information, you might get something, but just no guarantees. Also, like I said already, this is an unboxing and rambling, which means if you're new to the channel, that means I talk about whatever. Sometimes I talk about the game, sometimes I talk about my coffee and my Ember mug, and the fact that my daughter came out to play a video game right before filming. Anything goes in these unboxing and ramblings. If you enjoy that, awesome. If you're here for the chaos, awesome. You might also get no chaos and just get a conversation on a board game. Awesome. But also, if those aren't your jam, I highly recommend a bunch of channels to check out that do other types of unboxings. If you want heavily detail-oriented miniature reviews, King of Average does great unboxings that very much focus on the detail of the miniatures. General unboxings I also recommend from Board Game Coffee does phenomenally well done unboxings that are very informative across the board. If you want someone who's completely bored with the game in front of him, Tom Vasel over the Dice Tower does a bunch of boring game unboxings where it's basically like, here's a game, here's a game, here's a game. I don't even know if it's an unboxing so much as a unboxing, the shipping box unboxing. But either way, I'm realizing the top camera shot's not going to work for this. It's way too zoomed in for the level of detail we got on this. But anyways, whole bunch of channels out there. Highly recommend finding the types and ways that resonate with you. We're already going to have to use my knife again on this over here. So, this is Chronicles of Drunagor Apocalypse. This is an expansion to Chronicles of Drunagor. Chronicles of Drunagor is a dungeon crawling game that had a very fun cube. Oh no, I don't like that. I don't like bending that. Chronicles of Drunagor has a very fun cube allocation system that effectively gives you a very rewarding way to assign cubes to tons of abilities, to be able to activate said abilities, and just get the cubes back while dealing with the encroaching darkness all around you. Lots of fun things going on. Overall, a very good system. Amplify your Chronicles of Drunagor campaign with what? Foreteller? Yeah, it's going to be a foreteller sheet over here. Makes sense. I'm going to toss this because I know... Wait, is there a code? Is there a code? I will not toss this just in case that I need that code. We'll see. Anyways, we have over here, we have the Death Horsemen. So, this is the Apocalypse. As you might imagine with the Apocalypse, coming along with that, we have the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and we have a giant box representing some degree of whatever. But over here we have the Death Horsemen, we have the War Horsemen, Horsewomen, oh, how nice of them. We have the Famine Horsemen, and we have the Plague Horsemen. So we have a bunch of various horsemen and horsewomen to deal with over here that in some way, now I believe, which one did I fight against? I don't remember. I want to say Famine. I want to say I fought, oh, we have two women, Death Horsewoman. I believe I fought against Famine in my singular playthrough that I did of it. I don't remember if it's filmed or not. I have no idea. I don't remember if it's filmed or not. I remember, either way, you can check on the channel. Just type in Board Game Co. Chronicles of Drunagor, and you'll have a good sense of what's out there. Past that, Chronicles of Drunagor is a game that I very much enjoy, but I do have issues with the amount of work that goes into setting up and tearing down the game. That was my big pet peeve against the game, and it is something that holds back the game from being tabled as frequently. But one of the things that Apocalypse did better, not necessarily that so much, but Apocalypse, honestly, the organization of this is going to be an absolute nightmare. I have no idea what I'm going to do. But past that, Apocalypse gave you a much more engaging story as far as the way things interlink together, so it felt like it was a lot more involved. Over here we got rules and interactions, we got what's new, what we use from the content, and basically just, you know, is this a rule book? Rules and interactions, I guess this is the rule book. The spiral bound rule book with a whole bunch of, this is actually, okay, we got interaction points too, because otherwise, if it was just, you know, if it's just rules, oh my gosh, we got a lot of interaction points as far as these go. So it's fun stuff over here. But a lot of rule book pages over here. We got 88. Let's zoom out a drop on the camera. I always start in a bit too zoomed in. We'll zoom in more when we get the miniatures. We have a whole bunch of pages over here, a whole bunch of interaction points that I do not want to spoil for you. This was a fun system though, I'll say that. The general idea is you have these interaction points and you're making choices around how to interact with those things. And some of those choices will cut you off. Other times you just don't have a Other times you have a limit of how many interaction points you're actually allowed to engage with as you go through it. Over here we have all of the rules. So how much rules do we have? And are these new rules? Because if these are all new rules, that's like a... I mean, I'm curious. I don't remember it being that hard to dive into, though. That's the thing. I don't remember. Okay, it's 43 until we get to the interaction. So that's your amount of content you have to deal with there. But this book over here, I think this one has me more intrigued. This is the adventure book. And this might have been the big change. Again, there was a lot more choose your own adventure elements going on in the game play of Apocalypse compared to the original Chronicles of Drunagor. So we have over here, we have our adventure book. We have our, page 7 over here, understanding your campaign. Now this, I believe I went through something along the lines of this. Entering the Apocalypse, I believe I did this. There should be a bunch of people. You don't need to pick up any components if you don't have the Chronicles of Drunagor. No. Fate led to a hero. This might be something that's more of a choose your own adventure, because I don't think I've done that. I think I started over here. But then one night after the 8th day, everything changes. This may have been, this doesn't look that familiar, but I don't want to spoil things too much for you, so I think I'm going to go ahead and look, interlude the Apocalypse. Keep in mind, the prototype we got likely had a degree of, a customized scenario possibly to be able to not mess with things too much, because these first few scenarios do not look reminiscent of the scenarios I played through when I did this. So, no, the old way, nothing. It may have been specifically designed to be able to give you a preview content where I could have a few scenarios and also encounter a boss along the way. But yeah, none of these look vaguely familiar, so my guess is that I played specific scenarios possibly from this, but no. Either way, I am excited to go through this over here. I do remember enjoying the game a decent amount, and I enjoyed Chronicles of Drunagor a decent amount. I know that because I've played that, but Apocalypse as well. We have our story record over here. And this picks up from where Chronicles of Drunagor leaves off. We have tokens galore, which I do not think I'll be going through. I don't think I'll be doing much as far as, maybe I'll open up the sheet here for a bit. But past that, we got this. So, let's take this open over here. We have our Four Horsemen sheets we don't want to lose. And let's just see what we got as far as tiles. So, we got these. Just, ooh, look at these. The bridges are lit. The Horns of Gondor, the Fires of Gondor. We have our standees over here, because there is, to keep costs down and box size less obscenely obnoxious, we have these guys as standees. Although there are options to get those miniatures, which rest assured we will be going through all of that soon enough. So you have all these over here. I should put that together. Should I put that together now? Should I? Should I not? Where even is the rest of it? It must be over here. You know what? Let's go ahead and assemble. Let's assemble one. It's going to be annoying to get back in the box, but you know what? We're going to do it because I want to see what it looks like. I want to see how good this standee looks, because the whole point, the actual miniature itself is, well, large. So I want to see what the standee looks like, because the standee is also large. We got this. Now we're back. We got all our ability tiles. This game had a ton of abilities, a ton of ways to get items and grow within the game. It's a very fun experience that I am looking forward to diving back into, along with like 3,000 other campaign games. And when I say 3,000, yes, I am exaggerating, but it doesn't feel like it some days. So let's go ahead and put this together over here. I'm not doing all the other bits, but I'm just doing the singular bit over here. There we go. That's not the worst. How's that bad boy? It's too big for the zoom in shot. If I pull back too far, you can't see. You can see the head of it. Yeah, that works. anyways, we're going to put this aside now. Putting this back, trying to somewhat fit it back into its crevices over there. As far as the campaign game issue, where's my... Did I lose the sheet already? What did I do? Here we go. As far as the campaign game stuff, so I recently put together a list of my campaign games for myself, like a bit of just a note to go over. What do I have to play? Have to is a relative term. What do I want to play that's on my outstanding list? And that included a few different things, because we have campaign games, which is one category. We have legacy games. These are going to be token holders. We're not going to worry about those right now, because I'm not going to be punching and organizing right now, because that would be a very, very long and boring video. Although it might be useful, but it's more useful if you actually know it. We got some miniatures here. So there are some miniatures. We're going to go through those in a second. We have our various sheets of, like, you know, the pieces of terrain that will go on top of our tile storage system. If you don't know much about Chronicles of Drunagor, one of the things it does well is it does a tiered terrain system that makes it feel more immersive, because there's different levels to it. So you have like bridges, and you know, you have things that go under other things, and I don't know if we have any of the boxes for it here. I assume not. I assume it uses the same... Yeah, it doesn't look like they have much here. I assume it uses the same system, although it's going to store all your chapter envelopes and things. Chronicles of Drunagor. Is this meant to hold... Is this meant to hold Chronicles of Drunagor in it? I am not confident. We'll find out. Oh, here we go. Here are these. I'll show you some of this in a second. So, you know what? We'll put this off to the side over here. We got some miniatures to show you. But one of the things it does, it gives you that tiered terrain system. So effectively you have, you know, levels of terrain. You also have doors, which I'll show you how that works shortly. And that will unlock new areas. So as you open a door, you flip open the thing and you see, oh, this is the new area behind the door. So these guys, I was like, wait a second, are these from the base game? And the answer is no. I've just played with them before. That's this guy. I just remember last time his miniature quality was not as good, because this time round he is, you know, he's here for you. He's here for the party. We also have these cards over here, which I don't know if I'm going to bother opening. I'm always torn between opening cards. Okay, this is... I just don't want to mess things up in terms of the card order, but hey, let's risk it a bit. So, anyways, I was saying campaign games. So there's 4 different categories of campaign games, which really is 3 with a separate subcategory, but for my own purposes, I did 4. Okay, but again, you'll hear me, it's really 3 categories. These are categorization rules. If you ever run a database, you have to know the difference between the ways things have to be categorized. It's very interesting. If you ever code or program, it changes the way you think about things, because you're used to knowing how to process and store information in more manageable ways. Some things that are intuitive to us aren't actually the way you store data. Anyways, what are those 3 categories? 4 categories. We'll come back to that in a second. Let's see what we got for cards over here. We have this over here. In general with cards, I try to show you everything because I don't know what will or won't be a spoiler. So I just show you some degree of something so you get a sense of the card art, the sense of things. I mean, anything that doesn't get wrapped in spoilers is kind of... It is what it is. If it's not wrapped in something that says this is a spoiler, tough noogies. And this over here, that is Errant Behavior, special mechanic card. What does it do? No idea. Okay, we got some more cards, some more enemies, some more heroes. Let's show you one of these guys over here. Let's show you one of the Hellscar Dune Dancer. It's going to be this guy over here. You know, just showing you the various stats, the character art, all those things. Some good stuff over here. We got some special events. There's a lot of fun things going on here that are different. I'll say that. We have an enemy, a Ravenous Stalker. It's going to be this guy over here. You know, again, stats and attributes and all that. I'm with the card row. Oh my gosh. This is both making me excited to play Chronicles of Drunagor, but also, it is also making me remember the things I didn't like. I'm suddenly remembering the card row and how annoying it was to have that fairly large thing on top of an already fairly large table. Table space, game complexity, there are things that really get in the way of the enjoyment of a good game experience. Like I recently unboxed Agamonia on the channel, and I was incredibly excited for that one, but a big part of my excitement for Agamonia is not just how good the game is, but how accessible the game was. It's got a big giant box, sure, but the actual getting it set up and tabled and running the game, very, very easy compared to games like Gloomhaven, compared to games like Chronicles of Drunagor. Just because the game is good, you also have to make it accessible, or frankly, I'll play you less when I'm looking at my giant long list of campaign games. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm not playing Chronicles of Drunagor. I am, but I am saying that the when I play it is a bit of a different conversation overall. There we go, treasure trove. Okay, we got that, and then we got, yeah. So the when on this is lower down in priority order. For me, it's lower down in priority order than Agamonia. Agamonia is getting tabled as soon as I possibly can justify it, because honestly, that game is so much fun. Anyways, and honestly, like that's the thing that's tricky, because I think that if I'm comparing what I like more from a gameplay stance, Agamonia or Chronicles of Drunagor, I'm not as certain. I think that both have a lot of very good things going on with them. It's just that while they both have a lot of good things going on, one is definitely easier to actually table, which puts it higher up the ranks. And that is what it is. I mean, sometimes the nature of creating different types of games has different types of barriers. App-driven games have their own obstacles and their own room for things that you can do with an app-driven game that you can't do otherwise. There's always a interesting decision space as far as how you create something that is accessible, engaging, fun. How far outside the bounds of accessible do you go to maximize engagement? Every time you play a Marvel Champions or Arkham Horror, anytime you play an LCG, you have that question as well. How much content is adding to your experience versus getting in the way of the experience? These are all questions. Marvel right now in general is going through this with their entire TV series of, entire MCU in general, because the MCU, I warned you this was rambling. The MCU in general is a whole conversation of how much content is still giving people more of what they want versus at what point do you not watch the newest season of Loki and then you're kind of like, well, I didn't watch the newest season of Loki, so I just don't care anymore. Not you don't care at all, but there's two different drives to watch any Marvel anything, TV show, movie, whatever. The first drive is that you want to. That's the first drive. There's a Doctor Strange coming out, and I want to watch Doctor Strange. The second drive is that you feel you need to be caught up. And those are different drives. That degree of collecting everything is a certain drive that pushes you towards things in general. Let's show you a piece of armor, and then we'll down with these cards. So that drive of collecting, and collecting could be watching every TV show or movie in the MCU. Collecting could also be getting every single all-in Kaman's latest campaign. Those are both different drives. And for people who just want the thing, that's simple and plain. People who want the thing because they want to do all the things, there is a point where you start phasing them out of their own desire by putting too much in front of them. And there's a different conversation as far as whether you gain from that, which we'll get to in a second, because this video is going to be all over the place. We haven't even gotten to the list of campaign games or the 4 categories, or even the rest of these 17 boxes. We're going to be here for a while today. I'll be here for a while today. You may have clicked off this video in the next 2 minutes. Anyways, so what was I saying? The drive, giving people the drive. So when Kaman goes ahead and they sit there and say, hey, these are the amount of all-ins we have in this is the amount of expansions we have in our campaign. If whatever that number is, maybe I would have been sucked in by 2 expansions, but you have 3 expansions. And I didn't want the 2 expansions, I just wanted to get everything. So once you go to 3, a few things can happen. As a consumer, maybe I just don't get any expansions because once I can't get them all, once I'm like priced out of what I was willing to justify, I might only get the base game. I might not even get the base game. You might push me away from wanting the base game because I'm like, whatever. If I'm not going to keep up at all, even though I wanted the base game, if I'm not going to have it all, I won't do it at all. This is equally true for all the MCU. There are people who might sit there and say, well, now that I'm not watching everything MCU, I actively won't bother wasting any of my time in the MCU because I was only here if I could do all of it. That was my only justification as far as doing it all. So that's going to be one type of person. The other type of person says, you know what, I'll stick to watching the movies I want to watch and the TV shows I want to watch and call that a day. Over here, so we have a card over here. I'm not going to show you too much, but I'll just quickly flip with that. That shows you, well, in fact, I can show like this. So you can have story on both sides. We have a degree of like map text in the middle. And then these over here, what these do is they fold. They fold close, I believe like this. I believe it's going to be like that, but I'm not certain. I mean, I think it's supposed to be both sides covered. And that way you have a door. You open it, you have the QR code, which will direct you to the door database. And then you have this over here. And that's all going to get stored nicely in, well, here. See over here we have them all numbered. We have chapter 1 door. This is a chapter 1 door. It's going to go over there, and that's going to be where that goes. And I think you're going to have like chapter 2 door over here. Like literally every single door numbered. I mean, that's pretty cool. So you're going to have these. I think I'm going to tuck it over. That way the exposed end, I want to be tucked in like that. Perfect. And that doesn't make sense to me because that's 17. That's 17. 1 second. We go straight from 1 to chapter 1, a friendly visit. Oh, these are all chapter 1. Chapter 11, why does it feel like, oh, chapter 17 might be expansions. So if I go ahead and I do one more chapter 1, so I think it's not supposed to be all in different compartments. I think all 3 chapter 1 doors would get compressed, I believe, maybe. I'm not actually sure. And put it over here. No, that's not going to work. It might work. It might, but honestly, I don't love it. I don't love it. There's going to be a different way to organize this. I'm sure they have a pamphlet. For right now, I'm just going to go ahead and put them down over here. Although here, is it 1, 2, 3, 4? No, I don't know. But I think I'm just going to leave these like this for right now. And the rest of these, Can be dealt with later. Do I want to put them in here? No, I'll put them back in this slipcover. So I don't know exactly how those go, but fortunately, they probably tell me, and if not, I'll figure it out. I can also look at my original Chronicles of Drunagor, but I'm pretty sure I got rid of the inserts so that I could store as many expansions as possible in a singular box, which in hindsight may have been a mistake. But that's a different conversation. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and put this in here, like so. I'm going to tuck these back in here. In fact, this is going to go underneath, actually, because I think there's more space for it there. There we go. And then we're going to show you this. There's honestly not going to be a lot of things we show you in the base game box, because there's going to be a whole lot more, but there are at least some miniatures, and I know the competition is far from over. So here we go for our miniatures over here. Let's go ahead and show you some of these. There's honestly only 4 types, so I'm just going to show you the 4 types of miniatures that this game over here has. Here we go. Here's 2 of these bad boys. There we go. We got those guys. I'm going to show you 2 more, because that's literally all we got in the base game box. We got more stuff coming, but in the base game box, that's all we got. Oops, wrong cam over here. There we go. Look at that guy. Roar. Then we have this guy over here. Yeah, I don't know. People. They do their people-y thing. And then we go ahead and put them back. Wrong row. And I think we're done with the base game box. That was okay. I mean, I'm excited, but the primary thing I'm excited about is the book's full of content. The box is actually more of a homework assignment than anything else when you think about it. Okay, we're going to put those in there. This will go in there. This is not going to close nicely, but hey, we'll deal with it. This will go in here. This will go in here too. We got this that goes over here like so. Pushing that to the side. May as well show you this metal coin and sheet over here now while we're at it, because these are extra things that came off to the side that we're going to go ahead and open right now. And I'm still not done with the 8 campaign game categories to go over, the 4 campaign games that are really 3 campaign games. Let's go ahead and talk about that. Keep in mind, at any point, the nature of doing rambling means at any point I may start a conversational thread and then forget to finish it. That is just what it is. I'm sorry. Over here we have our, track your health for various characters over here. So you put the conditions down here and you track their health along there. Use different base, little standy things that go on the bottom, little clip-on rings. They were in the box. I'm just not showing you them because they're not that interesting. They're colored rings. But those are going to go there, tracking your various miniatures. We have our coin over here. We have Drunagor. I think I say Drunagor. Or is it that I say Drunagor or is it I say Drunagor? I remember one time, a very long time ago, someone gave me flack about the nature of, I was saying, he's like, why are all these content creators calling it, again, I don't know if he had a problem with it being called Drunagor or Drunagor, but was it Drunagor? Drunagar. Maybe it's the gar part. Maybe it's not the Drun or Dran, maybe it's the gar versus gor. I don't remember. All I know is, I say a bunch of things incorrectly, including various names of games, but in the case of Chronicles of Drunagor, even though I say it the way I say it, I think I've only ever had that one comment talk about it. The creators, designers, other people haven't really seemed to have a problem with it, so I don't know the actual way it's officially called. I tend to say Chronicles of Drunagor, but it might be Drunagor, it might be Drunagor, it could be Drunagar, Drunagor, or Drunagor, in theory. There could also be a silent D and it could be Runagar. That's a different conversation. Anyways, that is the base game box. Less exciting than I had hoped, but honestly, that gives us more time to focus on the next thing. Awakenings? I don't know. Let's do a small box first. Small box, and let's talk about the campaign games. So, the 4 categories of campaign games are as follows. Technically, it's not actually. The 4 categories of long games are as follows. Category 1 is campaign games. You can't have 4 categories of campaign games because one category is campaign games, and they're not subcategories. It's campaign games is a category. That's category 1. We have Fallen Sisters. Category 2, legacy games. Are they meaningfully different? I don't think so for the purposes of my list. They are meaningfully different for your purposes as someone who's buying a game and wants to know, what to get. Let's go ahead and zoom in a bit on the zoom lens over here. But while it may be different for your purposes or whatnot, it's not actually different for my needs. Meaning my goal right now is to catalog all the non-one-shot games that I need to play through. So if you're a one-shot, this is like pretty cool miniature. I like it. I like the Fallen Sisters. I like it. They got 4 breasts, which is, they got 4 heads. Honestly, the math doesn't check out over here. I don't appreciate the math one bit, okay? Because here's my problem with the math. We got 4 heads, right? 4 heads and 4 breasts. I'm okay with adding more breasts, but if you're going to add 4 heads, shouldn't there be 8 breasts? Isn't that the conversation? Like, tell me I'm wrong here. Who decided to quadruple the heads, but only double the breasts? The math doesn't check out. It's a fun miniature. I like the stylistic choice, but the math doesn't check out. Anyways, back to the campaign games. So we have campaign games. We have legacy games. The next one is more meaningfully different for my purposes, but still not that meaningfully different. The next category is episodic games. Okay, so an episodic game to me is, and this episodic versus scenario, it's fine lines there, fine lines. We're gonna get to the lines in a second. We're gonna figure out the next box. Let's do the big box. We'll do the big box, then we'll do the 2 medium boxes, then we'll do the giant 4 horsemen box. So episodic versus scenario are 2 different things, because scenario is not a category that I care about for the purposes of my list, but episodic is a hair's breadth away from scenario. So episodic, a good example would be Cthulhu Death May Die. Cthulhu Death May Die has a bunch of episodes. They are not a campaign, they are not legacy, play them whenever you want, there's no progression, unless you invent your own fictional campaign, which I have, because it's more fun that way. But episodic means that there are specific episodes to go through. Zombicide has it, Massive Darkness has it, Cthulhu Death May Die has it, Command Games clearly has it, other campaigns, other games, Unsettled. Unsettled will be episodic, in my opinion. It's hard to say for sure, but I think it's episodic. Well, at least I would classify as episodic. There's no inherent campaign, but there is a desire to kind of go through it all. I want to go through each of the zombicides and play through all of the episodes. When I want to replay them, I'll just play whatever one I want, but at least I want to play through all of them once. Same thing with Unsettled. I want to go through all of them, and then whenever I want to replay, I'll just pick whatever random one, or just wait for the next season, because inevitably they probably come out with seasons faster than I'm playing through them. We got a punch board over here. Scenario is a tricky one, because what's the line? What's the difference between a scenario and episodic? And honestly, it kind of comes down to whatever mood I'm in regarding a particular game. But a good example of scenario would be, because a straight up one shot would be, let's say, like Vindication would straight up be a one shot. There's no scenario, you're just playing Vindication. Whereas a scenario might be something like, and again, it's hard to really think through the distinctions of what exactly you categorize things, but I think Masters of the Universe, another Command game, I'd probably view as scenario more so than episodic. I don't know why. It is an interesting conversation. Possibly the nature of it being competitive leads to that already. But scenario is where you pick a scenario, you have whatever rules. So Ankh, again, is competitive. So maybe this is a co-op versus competitive thing. That might be the reason. But to me, scenario is where you pick a scenario and you go through that. But it doesn't have the mental connection. Episodic to me is not an actual campaign or legacy, but it does have that mental connection. We have Awakenings, adventure book. There's going to be so much content for this game. It's going to be absolutely insane. I will say this, if you like Chronicles of Drunagor, you are probably good for the amount of board game content you need in your life. Although the amount of rules is a whole different conversation. How many rules are there here? Okay, we got up to 31. So we have... Okay, so we have, these are good, some tips over here. 31 is the prologue, and then we have some more rules, awakenings, various things. We have, encounter page. Look at this person over here. We got more art, more things, possibly spoilers. Look at this guy. This guy feels like it was a backer. Oh, wait, no. Is that Rick? No. That might be Rick. It might be Rick. We'll see. Either way, we got more characters. It feels like, thank you, Christy Henson, for being part of our story and world. Nope, it doesn't have that. This might be Rick because it doesn't have that. Christy Henson, it looks like they had a pledge level where you could be added to the game. My thing with that in general is as long as it feels like it fits, I don't care at all. So over here, thank you, Gilam Sabalza, for being part of our story and world. Like, this looks good. I'm okay with this. My rule, whether it's a content creator or whether it's a person, as long as you fit into the art and feel of the game, I don't care at all. When you don't, I feel like you're selling an inferior product to everyone else for the sake of somebody who paid a little bit of a sum to get there, which... your choice, I guess, but it just doesn't feel good. So we got some sidebars over here. There's so much stuff for this game as far as the various classes and roles. I don't want to get rid of this game. I'm not saying I won't get rid of it. Again, the fact that it's hard to table set up means one day it might leave the collection if I don't feel it's being played enough. But we have Healer, Bruiser, Slayer, Trickster, Remove Curse, Stalker, Sucker Punch, Pounce. We have Mislead, Evasion, Remove Curse, Baton Pass, Selfless, Comeback, Self-Cleans, 2 and Empower. We have all these different abilities and just fun ways of doing things. So again, we're back to the episodic versus campaign. So we have more content over here, cards and things. I didn't show you the cards last time. So, you know what? We're going to show you some cards now because I forgot to do it last time. We have these doors, which I did show you last time, so we're not going to show you more. We have characters. Does Apocalypse have no characters? Huh. What's in Apocalypse? I have to go through it because, like, you have all these character boards over here, and I don't think I saw any Apocalypse, and maybe I just missed it? I don't know what's in the box anymore. Anyways, we have these over here. We're going to toss that back. Okay, so we have our little terrain tiles. These again are going to go over your terrain over here. So you have different types of terrain. So giving you different visual aesthetics as far as different stuff going on. That looks like a ship over here. Looks like the ship's having an issue. We got some, you know, more, possibly a ship. This looks like the ship again. Oh, look at this, look at this. Okay, so we're going to get rid of these over here. We have our ship over here. Was that a ship before? Like, is this the same ship, but like, you know, now it's being torn apart? Or is it a different ship entirely? Who's to really say? But they do have those kind of sheets. So it's almost like a sort of scenario book situation. Like, more and more, I got a comment on one of my live streams recently. What do you think is the best things? What do you think is something that's been added to the board game hobby that's a good thing? You know, that's something that's, you're happy to see it happening more and more. And I said that the change from tiles to scenario books, the fact that you have scenario books you can flip through, that's more and more a common way to build out your large, giant campaign or episodic or legacy games. And I appreciate that change. I think it's a good change. All right, we have Nyx over here. Nyx is going to be using, this is using the new type. I remember there was a whole drama in the original Apocalypse. The original Chronicles of Drunagor had a whole drama. They showed you great art and like a feel for the way the cards looked. And then they changed them to a way that didn't look as good. It is functional, it didn't look as good. And people were not happy. They had to basically say, hey, you can have both versions, do what you want. I did use the new stuff. It is more functional, but the original one still looked cooler. Alright, we have Nyx over here. This is going to be from Madara. Nyx from Madara. She's making a bit of an appearance in our game. We have, well, more Nyx. Is there a reason there's two sides over here? Jack of all blades, blooming arc. Is it just, I wonder why. This might be my own ignorance. Do they flip at any point? Again, the downside of not having played a game in a while. We have Vakrin, who I assume is Vakrin on the other side. Human warrior, human warlord. Oh, they're giving two different classes to them. So we have Nyx as a succubus sword mage, or as a succubus assassin. We have a human necromancer, Andreas, or human cleric. So they're giving you two different roles to these characters. Katharina. Katharina, is this from Arena of the Contest? I want to say that Katharina is from Arena of the Contest, but I don't know for sure. Honestly, I'm assuming these are all possibly. I don't know. It doesn't say. We have the succubus sword mage. That's definitely Nyx from Madara. We have Vakrin over here. Maybe he's from Wild Descent. Oh, that art does look, no. It might be from Storm Thunder or Wild Descent. I don't know. Katharina feels like Arena of the Contest, but I don't know. And Andreas, I don't know at all. I don't know. And keep in mind, I could be wrong with all of these. They don't have to be at all from any of these. But we do have some characters to go through. Anyways, I'm still not done with the categories. So, again, I'm not including scenarios. That's what it was. I'm including campaign. I'm including legacy. Sorry. I'm including campaign. I'm including legacy. I'm including episodic. And I'm not including scenarios. Category number 4, and this is where we'll go back to the database. Oh, they did it. They gave you, you see, this is what I'm talking about. We can show you some stuff. Let's go back to this. Category number 4, which the database people will realize is not a category, it's a separate, entirely different attribute that is unrelated to the first ones, is not yet here. So for my own categorizations, I broke down all of my various large, involved games that I want to play into 4 categories. Campaign, legacy, episodic, and not yet here. Not yet here technically includes campaign, legacy, and episodic in a separate attribute entirely. That would be its own column in the database. But for my purposes, I don't care right now. So here we have Katharina over here versus we have, where we go? Where's Katharina? Katharina on this sheet. And you can kind of see how one looks like a better, like this looks better. It just looks better. But it's actually less functional as far as the actual, they have the flip side again. So there's just more different art. One's better, one looks more functional. It is what it is, and just gonna have to deal with it. That is the way it works. And I'm happy we still have both. I'm sad that they have to lock themselves into this inefficient way of doing things where they have to basically print 2 copies of everything going forward. Let's see, before we do the miniatures, is there anything interesting going on here? We have some cards. I'm not gonna open it. This unboxing is already taking way too long. But I'm having fun. I hope you are too. You're still here, so at least your video's still playing. I don't know if you're in the next room or who knows what. Anyways, let's go ahead and show you some miniatures. So we got some miniatures over here. We haven't talked about the campaign thing. We're still going to come back to it. This guy looks like he has a top of a mouth, but no bottom of a mouth. Which is okay. You don't always need a bottom of the mouth. Sometimes, top of the mouth is totally functional. Here we go. This one over here. This guy. Again, these are fine. I've never been like... the Chronicles of Drunagor miniatures are always fine. I think the bigger ones are cool. But they're fine. They're not like... I don't have a problem with them. I'm not complaining. They're fine. I say fine a lot, by the way. Like, mine is usually my code. This feels like it has to be Wild Descent or Storm Thunder. This feels like it does. The miniature is making me even more certain. But we got this, we got this, and we got this. We're going to show you all these in a second. Let's show you the small little goblin, I don't know what you want to call this over here, goblin pile of people over here. There we go. That's that over there. By the way, I'm running out of time. I'm supposed to be watching a movie with the kids soon, but this unboxing was not supposed to be an hour. But then again, I should have seen the number of boxes and realized. Again, this feels like it's Daenerys, but I don't remember. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. And again, it doesn't have to be any. It doesn't have to be any at all. But the one that really gets me is, this guy feels almost like Oathsworn. When I look at him like this feels like an Oathsworn miniature. I don't know if it is, I don't know if it isn't, but it kind of has that vibe. And this guy just really makes me think Wild Descent. Something about it, or Storm Thunder. Something about the sculpting, the art, just makes me think that. Is it? I got no clue. I got no clue. And we have Nyx, of course. Nyx is over here. Nyx is definitely from... And again, the thing is, I'm assuming they put them all in one box of, like, you know, the crossovers. But that's not to say they did. And we have this guy over here, who's the giant, you know, demon guy. We haven't even got to the giant miniatures for the Four Horsemen, which are going to be their own separate conversation. And I think the reason those are miniatures instead of, you know... Well, the reason they were standees in the core box and miniature add-on is you don't see them enough that the people are going to have to pay for those. They want to give people the agency, the choice to pay for them. Now, I think you're supposed to put all the various miniatures from the other boxes into this box if you got them. Maybe. I don't know. We're going to have to deal with the storage stuff a different time, a different day. It's not going to be me. I mean, it will be me, but it's not going to be on camera. So, what was the point of this whole conversation around categorizations, of, you know, having all these campaign games? The point is that when I broke it all out, I'm already at like 45, 50 games that fall into those categories. Any of those categories I just spoke about, in terms of my desire to play these giant big box involved experiences. Whether it's campaign, legacy, episodic, or one of those three but not yet here, the upcoming category. You know, Madara would be a good example. Not Madara. Storm Center would be a good example of it's not yet here, so I don't categorize it. I didn't yet categorize it. But I have a lot of those. A lot. It's too many. It's too many. Like, there's no reasonable expectation that I'm ever going to play all these games anymore. So at this point, it's more about ranking them, and then getting rid of ranking my interest in playing them, and then getting rid of the ones at the lower tier. It's also why I've been backing fewer and fewer games over the past, I don't know what you want to call it, over the past a year or so. I've been backing fewer and fewer games, very much inspired by the fact that I'm realizing my desire to play these games is just, my desire is here, my time is here, and there's always new games to play no matter what. So we got Hero Pack 1. Should we do the fun Hero Pack 1? Because just do the fun Hero Pack 1. There's a fun little thing in here. So if you've made it this far in the video, well, there's a fun little thing. Honestly, it's more fun for me than it is for you, but it might also be fun for you. That's possible. So yeah, there's the video game space went through this problem a long time ago. The movie space, the TV space, the book space, the music space, every form of media has gone through that phase where you kind of realize you will not hear it all, you will not watch it all, you will not read it all, you will not play it all, you simply will not get to any of the alls in any of these medias. But with the board game space, we were able to hold out hope for a longer time. We were able to sit there and say to ourselves, we will make it, we're going to go ahead and, I don't know, we're going to be able to play all the good games. And once upon a time, that was true. If you go back 10 years, it was more reasonable that you were able to play all the good games. I say good very specifically. Even 10 years ago, you couldn't play all the games. But all the good games, you could. You can kind of keep up with all the stuff. This is like, you know, our large pack. We've got cards. Let's go and show you what we got over here. So, we got our miniatures, we got some cards. We're not going to go through everything as usual because brevity and time and management and all those things. But we will show you some fun things here. We got our class sheets. These are going to be the various class unlocking stuff, so you can unlock the various abilities as you go through it, unlocking various tiers. We have our Necromancer class, we have our Shaman class over here, we have our Sword Mage class, and then we have our Warlord class. So we have 4 different classes, all with a bit of an explanation of the various attributes or stuff they have, and then different ways to unlock skills. Now they did have a way to dual class, if I recall correctly. I never bothered to get into it because, honestly, there's so much content in this game, I don't need that extra degree of whatever. So then we have Mordred over here. Do I show you the big box sheets over here? You're not going to show you the big box sheets because I think that they're more cool looking. But let's go ahead and open this over here. So, we're up to not being able to keep up. I think that's where we're at, not being able to keep up. Anyways, we have Mordred over here. Oops, the box just fell over. Give me a second. Okay. Yeah. We have Mordred over here. That's going to be, you know, this one over here coming as a human necromancer and as a Azurian. No, that's Sif. That's Sif. So we got Sif and Mordred, different characters over here. So 2 different sides of necromancer. That's usually what they've done. I guess when they're using characters from other games, they want to double use them, I guess. Grimosh, Orc Shaman. I mean, that makes sense. If you're going to play as Nyx, but you don't want to play as one class, they at least give you 2 options. That's nice of them. It's pretty nice. Grimosh, Orc Shaman over here. Alternatively, we have Sahara, Draconian Shaman. We have Prix, Efreet Warlord. And then we have Brigitte. It's not actually Brigitte, it's like Brigitte, but I play Overwatch, so it's Brigitte to me. We have Dwarf Warlord, Brigitte. Diana, Valkyrie Sword Mage. And then we have over here, Azriel, Human Sword Mage. That's what we got as far as this one goes over here. Then, what else do we have? We have the various characters over here. We got a little extra thing over here to get rid of. We got these over here. This one's going to be that. And there we go. And then we have this guy over here. That's going to be, you know, Brigitte over there. Then we have the various miniatures over here, these characters. So we got this one. And then we got this one over here. And then we have this guy over here. We have Azriel. And then we have the Draconian one, this Draconian guy over here. And then 2 more, and then we'll be done with this box before we move on to the next box. There we go. And there we go. And that is going to be our box, which means we are done with this box. On to the companions and something. Let's go and get that in a second. I'm going to put this away. And are there rules? There's no rules. We are good to go on that. We're mostly done. We're mostly done. We're getting to the end of this very long journey together. Again, those of you who are still here or in the next room while your thing's on autoplay, or maybe your device is broken. Maybe you put me on the TV and you can't turn it off despite wanting to. You always pull the power cord, but like you don't want to do that. It's so much extra work. Or, I don't know. All right. This is going to be some terrain over here. We have companions and furnitures. Okay. So we got this. We're going to open this over here. That's going to be a box cover. And then we got all this over here to go through. And again, we'll show you most of the stuff over here. We got pillars and columns and things to show you, but we'll show you what we can. We'll show you what we can. We got pillars, columns. We have this bookshelf over here, which is a nice bookshelf. I'll give them that. I mean, props for a good bookshelf. It's got books and skulls in it. That's like, I mean, all good bookshelves should have books and skulls. We have crates and barrels. There we go. Crates and barrels. And then we have these little drum situations, whatever these are, altars, I guess. They look altar-y. There we go. And then we have our miniatures. We got some familiars. We got little dragons and pets and familiars. Oh, it's so adorable. Let's go ahead and show you these guys. I'm excited for these. These are fun. We got these guys over here. Look at these guys. Look at the little pets. Look at them. All these little goodest boy over here. We got this little cat. I'm more of a cat person myself. Although my cats, you know, I don't have cats. When I say my cats, I mean the cats I like are less likely to, like, eat you. We got a little dragon. Those I don't have at all in any shape or form. Not, like, remotely, because it's a dragon. Although the concept of a dragon is cool, but the actual execution of a dragon is... Well, don't execute a dragon. That'd be mean. I guess the truth is dragons are... You know what a good movie was? I don't know if you watched it, but... Dragonheart? You watched the original Dragonheart? With, who are the main characters? It has the guy from... Can't remember his name, but from... A few things. Lupin, in case this is actually one of those things, if you don't know this, if you didn't realize this, but Lupin from Harry Potter, whose name I can't remember at all because it's escaping me, he's the king from Dragonheart. You know, the obnoxious king whose heart is like attached to the dragon and all that. Then it's also, it was 2 people who I always forget this. It was the voice of the dragon is Qui-Gon Jinn, I think. Again, Liam Neeson. But then there's also, who's the other famous person? Is it... I'm blanking on it. Who's the main actor? Who's the main actor from Dragonheart? Because I always think it's Liam Neeson, and it's not Liam Neeson. That's always I remember that. I remember that part. It's Liam Neeson is the voice of the dragon, but then the Dragonheart main character person is... someone else, whose name is escaping me. Anyways, you've been waiting so patiently. We are finally here. Either that or you skipped it from a timestamp, in which case who knows what. I feel like I started a conversational thread a second ago. Dragonheart. Why was I talking about Dragonheart? Oh, because dragons. I'm talking about dragons and don't kill dragons. And I like Dragonheart. You know what I didn't like? The following movies in the series. You want to talk about... People like to talk about how The Matrix went off the rails. The Matrix didn't go off the rails. Dragonheart went off the rails. That's a movie. You want movies that went off the rails. Either that or The Scorpion King. Honestly, if you never watched The Mummies, like the original Mummies, like with Brendan Fraser, that was a good series of movies. You know what's not a good series of movies? The Scorpion King. Did they make it a series? They probably did make it a series. I don't even remember if they made a series, but it's funny because like The Rock is a great like personality and possibly a great actor. Depends how you look at it. Depends on the movie and all that. But that was not a good start for his journey. Give me a second here. Okay. The bad news, this is annoying to take out. The good news is we got some cool miniatures to go through here. Let's go through some cool miniatures. Here we got, I definitely played against this guy. This is definitely the baddie I fought against the first time. So let's go ahead and show you them over here. Because he is definitely pretty cool as far as, let's put him in frame as much as possible. There we go. Yeah, lots of detail. Lots of detail. Again, you know, I highly recommend King of Average if you want, like, to, like, point out what goes where and how goes there and the mold lines here. KOA will take care of you on that stuff. To me, I just kind of go, ooh, pretty miniature. Which it is a pretty miniature. Ooh, I like this. I like this little bit over here. We got a little skull on the, like, the thigh. It's, like, not really a tattoo. It's more of a, I don't know, a spirit sucked into the darkness of everlasting hell and torment. But it's got mirrored on both sides. Which I don't actually like, by the way. I mean, he got all four of these. All four of his sides got, like, a little spirit thing, which I don't love that. I thought it was cooler when it was one. Like, make different, like, having skulls on all four of your thighs, that, like if you got a tattoo of something like a skull in your arm, would you want it on all four of your arms and your butt cheeks, I guess? I mean, it feels not as cool, but it's still cool. It's still cool. Let's go with this one. This is the other miniature. I definitely had this at the time as well. I don't remember what miniatures I had. I had this one too. This is definitely a miniature I had. I think I had it. I'm pretty sure I had 2 miniatures in my box. But I like this guy. He's got some character, you know. Do we have some skull? Do we have skull stuff? We have skulls in that. Again, same problem. Same problem. The skulls. Look at this. We got skulls here and here. And then we got skulls here and here. They're into, like, the skull situation. Rawr. Rawr, 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 rawr. Die. I am the spirit of war. Or one of them. I don't know which one's which, honestly. But I probably could look at the cards, and that I'm sure would show me. We got this guy over here, who is, he looks like probably famine, or is famine. I don't know which one's which. I don't know. But do we have skulls in the legs? Do we have skulls in both legs? I mean, his entire body's made up of skulls. Does that count? But I like that. I like the entire body being made up of skulls. That I don't mind. Consistency. It's more this base is okay. Like, it's a giant mash of, like, just kind of flesh situation. But, here we go. We can make more noises, but I think I did it once, which is probably enough for what this video needs. There we go. It's cool. But then we're here for the main attraction. The main attraction, and this box is obnoxious. Have we covered how obnoxious this box is? But that's because this main attraction over here is this guy, who is definitely a large dragon. Not the largest dragon I've ever seen. The largest dragon I've ever seen in a board game would be Time of Legends, Joan of Arc. From Mythic Games of Infamy. Anyways, I don't even know how to show you this. I can't show you this. Like, the side camera here would be like, here's a base. This is all I can do over here. You can see over here. You can see their head. Because I can't get it far back enough because it hits the table. The problem is this guy's too big for a close-up shot over there. But we could do a close-up shot over here. Here we go. You see? Look at that guy. We'll also do the top camera in a second. But just so you can see everything from multiple angles. Because it's big enough that you deserve to see it from multiple angles in different ways. Let's get a good nice look at its butt. Spin around, and then we can do the top camera over here. The top camera, we'll show you some stuff over here. Top camera I can at least reach to zoom in or out as I need to. But that's going to be this guy over here. Giant dragon facing your way and just slowly coming closer and closer to your impending doom. He's okay. He's a good kind of guy. Anyways, that has been your unboxing and rambling of Chronicles of Drunagor Apocalypse and the 17 expansions and too many boxes for this game. But how does this even go? How does this go? I don't even know how this goes. Because this goes back on it like that, but I guess this is supposed to just go in the middle to just brace it. I think it probably goes in the middle to provide bracing, maybe. Well, we're going to put this back over here, but I will probably deal with all this stuff later because, honestly, I don't want to mess with things too much. How does this go? Oh, like this. In which case, like that. There we go. We got it. We're making progress. Uh-oh. Does it go in like this? Give me a second. Give me a second now. I need to get my That was me pausing to reflect on the fact that I may have broken a miniature, but I didn't. But I may have. This is a little obnoxious. There we go. Okay, I think it's in a safe way now. I think. But I don't really know. I could have just ended this video a few minutes ago, but now we're stuck here. Because now I'm doing this, and now I kind of want to get it right before I end the video. Why? Because I want to. I don't want to deal with this. This is like clip, 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 clip. It's closed. I just hope I don't break it on the way out again. I'm a little worried I will. I don't know. Ta-da! Anyways, until next time, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Kill. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing and rambling of Chronicles of Drunagor Apocalypse and all the subsequent expansions. We still got coffee left, still got a drop left over there to go. Until next time, I hope you have a good one.